When the first vault door opened, it revealed secrets the world was never supposed to read, but every unlocked page only led to another door, another shadow. John kept going deeper, and with each year the pattern grew stranger. Files that once existed were suddenly gone, replaced by blank indexes and digital ghosts. It was as if someone was watching the watchers deleting history in real time. One night in 2017, while cataloging new releases, John noticed a document batch titled Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification, Program AATIP. At first it looked routine, but then the names appeared: Luis Elizondo, Harry Reid, Robert Bigelow. The deeper he read, the clearer it became that this wasn't just paperwork, was proof of a secret Pentagon investigation into objects not of known origin. Asterisk, AATIP wasn't folklore. It was a real program funded by the US government to study what they politely called aerial anomalies. Within its pages were references to craft that could bend spacetime, materials that reacted to magnetic fields, and encounters that left radiation traces on military personnel. For decades, the idea of crashed retrievals had been mocked. But here in the vault, the documents whispered another story, one of recovered debris stored under private contracts, hidden from oversight, moved from military hangars to corporate labs. The trail was faint, but it was there. Asterisk, around that time, a name began echoing across the Vault forums: Project Kona Blue. Few had heard of it, yet several declassified memos mentioned a study connecting recovered materials to propulsion research. The language was coded: non-terrestrial performance artifacts, engineered composites. Nothing explicit, but enough to send shivers through anyone reading. It hinted that the government wasn't merely observing these objects, it might be attempting to replicate them. Asterisk, then came the whistleblowers. In 2023, a former intelligence officer named David Grush stepped forward. He claimed he had seen classified evidence of a UFO, crash, retrieval, and reverse engineering programs hidden inside defense contractors. When reporters asked him for proof, he said, "The documents exist, just not for public eyes." And when the hearings began on Capitol Hill, the same phrases from his testimony matched phrases already inside the Black Vault. Words like non-human biologics, legacy, programs, and transmedium craft. Asterisk, for those who had followed John's work, it felt like the pages of the vault had come alive. Everything long dismissed as conspiracy was now echoing inside congressional halls. Yet the strange part wasn't what Grush revealed, was what he refused to reveal. Every time he neared specifics, he stopped. "I can only speak in ASCIF," he said, a secure compartmented facility. Translation: the truth was still classified. Asterisk, John uploaded the transcripts anyway, line by line, connecting them to older Air Force and CIA files. Cross-references began to appear. A1961, memo describing biological entities of unknown origin. A 1989 report from the Defense Intelligence Agency discussing organic residue from recovered materials. Each fragment was small, almost meaningless on its own, but together they formed a whispering chorus that sounded less like imagination and more like buried history. Asterisk. But truth never comes without resistance. Soon after those files went viral, the Black Vault site experienced unexplained outages. Backups disappeared. IP tracers looped through servers in Virginia, Colorado, and Adlilang. To outsiders, it looked like coincidence. To those inside the UFO research community, it looked like someone was pulling digital wires. Asterisk, and yet the story kept growing. A new wave of documents arrived through FOIA, this time from NASA and the Department of Energy. They spoke of testing exotic alloys with unknown crystalline structures. They mentioned isotopic ratios impossible to reproduce in terrestrial laboratories. The language was cautious, bureaucratic, but the implication was clear. Something not from here had passed through government hands. Asterisk then. Buried deep in a 2004 Naval Intelligence report was a section titled UAP Material Recovery. It referenced metallic fragments transferred to private sector contractors for advanced study under NDAs. No company names, no addresses, just a code, AT33P. That code reappeared in 3 other unrelated files spanning 20 years. Whatever a T33P was, it connected the Pentagon, private aerospace labs, and something else entirely. John reached out to retired analysts, physicists, even a few military insiders. Most ignored him. A few answered cryptically. One email simply read, "Stop looking. You already have enough." Another contained coordinates in the Nevada desert, coordinates that led to nothing but sand and silence. Asterisk. As time passed, the Black Vault became more than an archive. It became a symbol, a reminder that secrecy cannot last forever. Millions of visitors from around the world began exploring its depths. Teachers, scientists, journalists all combing through the labyrinth of declassified reality. And somewhere between the redacted paragraphs and missing pages, they began seeing a pattern the same way John did. The governments weren't fighting to hide UFOs because of panic. They were hiding them because of power. Whoever controls that technology controls the future. Asterisk. In 2024, a batch of CIA documents arrived, labeled Sunstreak. The public summary said psychic research. But the attachments told another story, remote viewing experiments aimed at locating foreign craft of non-conventional design. Several reports claimed partial success. Viewers described metallic discs buried underground or submerged in remote oceans. Cross-referencing coordinates with satellite data revealed nothing. Yet the images they drew matched shapes seen in declassified radar footage. Coincidence or evidence of a network spanning decades? John posted the data anyway, letting the world decide. The debates flared across forums and podcasts, but something else happened quietly. For the first time, mainstream scientists began asking questions. Material scientists requested samples. Astronomers proposed targeted sky surveys. And journalists who once dismissed UFO talk as fantasy began treating it like national security. Meanwhile, the vault's oldest files started gaining new meaning. Reports from the 1940s, once thought absurd, suddenly mirrored modern UAP behavior: instant acceleration, silent hovering, right-angled turns. The same impossible maneuvers described by pilots today. History, it seemed, had been repeating for nearly a century. One document in particular kept haunting John, dated 1955, marked eyes only. It described a recovered craft approximately 32 feet in diameter, with biological occupants, not of human configuration. The report ended with the line, "Transferred to Wright-Patterson, AFB, Hangar 18. Long considered myth." Hangar 18 resurfaced through multiple cross-references, each pointing to the same place of facility rumored to store recovered technology. None of the references were complete, but together they painted a chilling picture. Late one night, John spoke during a His voice was quiet but steady. "This isn't about believing in aliens. It's about transparency. If the truth belongs to anyone, it belongs to everyone. Those words became a rallying cry. Viewers clipped them, shared them, turned them into headlines. And for a moment it felt like the vault had cracked the wall completely. Asterisk then. Almost poetically, the government shifted tactics. Instead of denying, they began admitting. New official language appeared. UAP task forces, transmedium object analysis, controlled disclosure. But each admission came with new redactions, new barriers. It was like watching the truth surface, only to be pulled underwater again. The dance between revelation and concealment continued. Asterisk. As of today, the Black Vault holds more than 3 million pages of declassified records. Yet for every file opened, another 3 remains sealed. And the more you read, the more you feel that presents something unseen yet deliberate guiding what we're allowed to know. Some call it bureaucracy. Others call it control. John calls it the echo of secrecy. Asterisk still, hope lingers in the data. In a recent batch from the Defense Technical Information Center, one paragraph stands out. Observations of performance characteristics suggest the potential for gravity field manipulation. Gravity field manipulation, words that once belonged in science fiction, now sitting inside official documents. If even a fragment of that is true, then our understanding of physics is about to change forever. Asterisk, so where does it end? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe the vault will keep expanding, feeding on curiosity until the last secret is forced into daylight. Or maybe the real secret isn't in the papers at all, but in how we choose to see them. Perhaps the vault is a reflection of ourselves, the collective need to know, to question, to confront the unknown even when it frightens us. Asterisk, because somewhere out there, beyond the atmosphere and the silence, something is watching back. Every radar blip, every pilot report, every vanished file is a reminder that our story as a species is not complete. And when the next disclosure comes, and will come, the first line will trace back to one bedroom in California where a teenager asked the simplest, most dangerous question of all: what are they hiding from us? Asterisk, the music fades, static hum returns, the voice lowers to a whisper. The vault is still open. The documents are still coming. And the truth, whatever it is, has already begun to escape.